For the last 6 months, quite a few people in my comment section have all agreed that Bass Pro Shops are some of the ultimate base locations in a zombie apocalypse. They make it sound like it's a survivor's paradise, and I can see why. It's a fun fantasy, but it's a fantasy that might get you killed. So today, we're breaking it down and finding out if you can actually survive a zombie apocalypse inside of a Bass Pro Shop. And just so we're all on the same page here, we're talking about classic walkers. Slow and dumb, but dangerous in numbers. Just a quick disclaimer before we jump into it. Not all Bass Pro Shops are built the same. Some are glass pyramids, some are brick bunkers, some have 2 floors, and others have 1. I can't account for every single variation. There's roughly 200 Bass Pro Shops spread across North America, with the vast majority in the US. The US stores also offer far more variety and firepower options than the locations in Canada, so today we're grading the average experience, the signature log cabin flagship model. We're also going with one located in the US since most of them are located there in the first place. Now with all that yapping out of the way, let's hop into it. Let's kick things off with the most obvious strength, the firearms. This is the primary draw, but it's not just about the volume, it's about variety. You have shotguns for breaching doors and close quarters crowd control, you have high caliber rifles for reach and hunting, handguns are abundant, but every amateur knows about guns. The real pros know about the archery department. In a zombie apocalypse, noise is death. But do you know what won't lead to death? Today's sponsor, Free Cash. Free Cash is an app where you can earn money by completing offers like trying games, testing apps, and hitting specific milestones. You pick an offer, follow the task, and once you complete the steps, you get rewarded. They also have 4.8 stars on Trustpilot and 250,000 reviews, which is honestly impressive. That's kind of unheard of these days. So here's how it works. You'll see a list of offers. I'm picking the Grand Mafia because I'm a big fan of any kind of game with mobsters. The rewards are easy to get, and the payouts are solid. So if you tap the offers button and scroll down, it shows you exactly what you have to do to earn the rewards. One important thing I should mention is to make sure app tracking is enabled, so Free Cash can track your progress and reward you correctly. If you don't enable it, you can end up doing the work and not getting credit. So make sure it's on. After that, just play and earn. I usually hop on while I'm rendering YouTube videos for the channel, watching TV, or out traveling. You can also see your progress tracked inside Free Cash. You can see how much you've made as well as the rewards you've collected. And just to be 100% transparent, I made a couple of in-app purchases to speed things up. And Free Cash gave me cash back through bonus rewards, which is pretty cool. Alright, now I'm going to cash out here so you can see how it works. There's a bunch of other withdrawal options here as you can see. But today I am going to use PayPal. Just confirm those. And withdraw. And as you can see, it says we'll receive $47.50, which is exactly the amount I got in my PayPal account here. If that all sounds good to you guys and you'd like to try it out, check out the link in my pinned comment or my description, or scan the QR code to try out Free Cash. You'll also get a $5 bonus for the first offer you start. I have a list on my screen of all the countries that the bonus is available in, and depending on your country, the interface might look a little bit different, but the functionality is the same. Alright guys, back to it. So as I was saying, a gunshot rings out like a dinner bell for every infected within a 2-mile radius. Bass Pro Shops stock high-end compound bows and crossbows. This allows for silent takedowns, reusable ammunition, and stealth capabilities that firearms can't provide. If you're clearing the perimeter, you want a crossbow, not a Glock. But here's the real game changer. The one thing that separates this location from a police station, we can call it the infinite ammo glitch. Most survivors grab boxes of bullets and run, the hit it and quit it method. They're all thinking short term. They miss the real treasure, the reloading bench. A police station has finite ammo. Once the locker is empty, it's empty. A Bass Pro Shop sells the ingredients. They stock the gunpowder, bags of brass, and the reloading presses required to assemble them. If you secure this equipment, you aren't just a scavenger, you're a manufacturer. You can turn spent brass back into live rounds. This turns a finite resource into a sustainable one. The only hard ceiling you hit is when the primers run out, but that could take years. That single factor makes this location a gold mine. It's like printing your own money in the apocalypse. Now let's talk about the building itself. This is a bit of a gamble. It depends entirely on which specific store you're in. These buildings have a second floor mezzanine, or a balcony that overlooks the main atrium. Tactically, this is brilliant. You can pull the Project Zomboid strat and destroy the stairs. This will separate you from the ground floor. You could stand on the balcony and rain fire down on anything that breaches the glass. And you could sleep knowing there's a physical air gap between you and the biters. Now let's talk about the clothing in here. Because amateurs grab shotguns, professionals grab socks. Here's the brutal reality. A zombie might try to kill you when it comes in contact with you, but the weather tries to kill you every single day. The weather tries to kill you every single day. And most people are wearing cotton. In a survival scenario, cotton is suicide. Once it gets wet, it loses all insulation and sucks the heat out of your blood. You need to raid the hunting aisle for the high-end synthetics. You need to get some of that merino wool or Gore-Tex. This isn't clothing, it's environmental armor. If you prioritize bullets over body temperature, you might not live long enough to pull the trigger. Furthermore, we need to talk about bugging out. You will eventually have to flee. We know this. So when it does happen, you can't carry a mattress. The store is full of 4-season tents, 0-degree sleeping bags, and portable water filtration systems. You can equip a squad with high-end bug-out bags in 10 minutes flat. This allows you to be mobile. A base that you can't leave is a prison. The Bass Pro gives you the ability to live on the road comfortably. That being said, we live in a digital age. But when the grid goes down, Google Maps is dead. Your phone is a paperweight at that point. This brings us to analog intelligence. The book section in these stores are often overlooked by regular people. It contains local topographic maps, hunting guides, and trail maps. The stuff is weightless gold. Knowing where the water sources are, where the elevation changes, and where the game trails are located is the difference between starving and eating. Speaking of starving and eating, finally we come to the calorie sources. If you're looking for bread and milk, go to the grocery store and die in the riot. Bass Pro stocks high-density survival fuel. Yes, they have the aisles of beef jerky and high-calorie fudge containers, but the real gold is the bulk freeze-dried section. We're talking Mountain House and Agassiz Farms buckets. This isn't food that rots in a week. This is high-calorie nutrition with a 25-year shelf life. One bucket here is equal to a shopping cart of canned goods, but the inventory goes deeper. You aren't just a consumer here, you're a butcher. This store stocks industrial-grade meat grinders, sausage stuffers, vacuum sealers, and dehydrators. Now, some of this stuff will be obsolete when you lose power, but there are solar-powered versions. And we do have access to generators in here, so that's another way we could use them. Alright, now why does this matter? Because when you eventually hunt that deer or catch that fish, you have the equipment to process, cure, and preserve the meat for winter. A grocery store will feed you temporarily. This gear feeds you for a lifetime. Assuming it doesn't all break down and you can actually use it though, of course. Otherwise it's worthless. And to cook it, you have access to the Lodge cast iron display. Forget the Teflon pans from home. Those are garbage. This cookware is indestructible and will outlast you in the apocalypse. When you're long gone, it'll still be kicking around. As for hydration, aside from all of the bottled water, you have aisles of life straws and high-volume pump filters. But more importantly, you have the jerry cans and the hydration bladders to transport it. You could basically drink out of a mud puddle if you have this gear. As usual, things sound pretty good so far. Too good to be true even. So let's take a look at the cons. Now look out front of the Bass Pro Shop and tell me, what do you see? Glass. 2 stories of beautiful panoramic glass. Architecturally, it's stunning. Survival-wise, it's a nightmare. How do you barricade 4,000 square feet of window panes? You can't. You don't have enough plywood, and you don't have enough steel. One brick thrown by a raider, or one heavy push from a horde of zombies, and your perimeter is breached. Once the glass breaks, the store is open. You can't seal this building. You're living in a fishbowl, exposed to every sniper and every zombie eye passing by. I'm not saying you can't block the glass at all, but it is extremely vulnerable. And it gets worse. Let's talk about location. Bass Pro Shops are never hidden. They're built in massive retail parks, almost exclusively right off major highway interstates. And here's the problem with that. Highways are the arteries of the undead. You might think the roads will be jammed with cars, and they will be, but that gridlock stops you from escaping in a vehicle. It doesn't stop them. Unless there was a big accident and cars are piled up, they'll just travel along the highway. Zombies are pedestrians after all. They don't care about traffic jams. They just weave through the bumpers. And as hordes migrate out of dying cities, they follow massive ribbons of asphalt. Whether the road is empty or clogged with steel, it leads right to your front door. You aren't isolated. You're sitting on the exit ramp of a monster superhighway. You will face wave after wave of migration. It'll be rare for you to have a quiet day, especially early on. Alright, now let's say you secured the outside of the Bass Pro Shop. What about the inside? Because these stores are designed to be cluttered. Nooks, crannies, fake rock climbing walls, massive taxidermy displays, kayaks, racks. You can never be 100% sure the building's clear. Not early on at least. A zombie or worse, a hostile human could be hiding inside a fake hollow mountain or behind a rack of winter coats for days without you knowing. So you're definitely going to want to do a clean sweep of this place early on. Now let's talk about the honeypot effect. You're not the only genius who thought of this. Every redneck, every prepper, every panic father, and every heavily armed militia is heading to Bass Pro Shop. You aren't fighting zombies on day one. You're fighting people. Expect a war zone. The parking lot will be a slaughterhouse. If you manage to take the building, you will spend the rest of your life defending it from other humans who want what you have. You become the raid boss. Everybody's coming for your loot. And the fish tank in here is not your friend. Every Bass Pro has a giant aquarium. You might look at it and think fresh fish and a free reservoir of water. Wrong. The aquarium is not a reservoir. It's a biological time bomb. These tanks rely on electric pumps and filters to keep the water oxygenated and clean. Without power, the pumps die. Within 48 hours, ammonia levels spike. The fish die, they begin to rot, and then the tank becomes a toxic sludge of nitrate and bacteria. If you try to drink that, even with all the filters inside of here, you're probably gonna die of dysentery. Unless you eat the fish and drain it early, you're sleeping next to a 20,000 gallon open sewer. Next up is a point that not everybody thinks about, and it's the reason I'd be concerned about sleeping in this building. You're essentially living inside of a bomb. Look at the inventory again. Thousands of pounds of polyester and cotton clothing, wooden construction, gunpowder in the reloading section, and the kicker, the camping section. This section is stocked with thousands of pressurized propane and butane canisters. Without city water pressure, the fire sprinklers won't work. So here's what could go down. A hostile group attacks, they realize they can't get past your guns, so they change tactics. They don't breach your doors, they just throw one Molotov cocktail through the massive glass window. The clothing catches fire, the fire reaches the propane aisles, boom. The entire building will go up in flames in minutes. It'll burn hot and it'll burn fast. And if you're on the second floor when the fire starts, you're extra cooked. Now let's talk about trying to live here long term. Yes, there are generators on the shelf, but generators are loud. So running a gas generator is equivalent to ringing a zombie dinner bell. This place does sell solar panels though, so you will be able to power small things. Now look at the ceilings. They're 40 to 60 feet high. Heat rises. In the winter, this building will be a freezer. You can't heat a space this large without a wood stove. You'll freeze in the dark. You can't farm on concrete floors either. You can't grow crops in the parking lot asphalt. Now I know you're probably thinking, oh well, just haul it up to the roof and start a garden. This isn't Minecraft, folks. To grow enough calories to feed one person, you need hundreds of square feet of soil. That's tens of thousands of pounds of dirt. Since the grid's down, the elevators won't work. You have to haul all that dirt up to the roof bucket by bucket. And here's the math for that. You'll burn thousands of calories a day hauling dirt just to grow a turnip or potato that gives you 50 calories 3 to 6 months down the road. You'll starve to death long before the first potato sprouts. Now to answer the question you came here for. Can you survive a zombie apocalypse inside of a Bass Pro Shop? Short-term survival, I'm gonna rate it a 2 out of 5. The resources are a 5 out of 5. There's no doubt about that. This place is in fact a survivor or a prepper's dream come true. It's unmatched, but the honeypot effect creates an immediate combat zone. If you have a second floor and you manage to knock out the stairs, you will be able to survive for a while. If you don't, you die in the glass atrium. The risk of human conflict and zombies breaching the first floor is just way too high here. Long-term survival, I'm gonna rate it a 1 out of 5. Due to their locations often being near major highways or traffic corridors and shopping centers, basically guarantees constant waves of the undead migration, as well as human traffic, which will more than likely be hostile due to your resources. It's unsustainable, so the verdict is a hard no. While the Bass Pro Shops might be the ultimate loot spot with an abundance of reloading supplies, weapons, maps, food, camping gear, and the best clothing for the apocalypse, it's simply a terrible place to live. The location puts you on a zombie highway. The fire risks from the propane stock are catastrophic, and unless you have a second floor, the iconic glass storefront is a death sentence. Now, some locations will have more glass doors and windows than others, but that doesn't change the fact that they're a massive weak point in the building. So don't fall in love with the logs and the rustic aesthetic. Don't make this place your base. Because in an apocalypse, a Bass Pro Shop isn't a fortress. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this place just really isn't what you think it is. I'm sorry. Alright guys, if you made it to the end, I appreciate that as always. I personally kept playing Grand Mafia and made it even further. Don't forget to check free cash out by scanning the QR code or by checking the pinned comment or the link in the description. Thanks again guys. And YouTube thinks you'll like this video. If you've already seen it, I've got a playlist of a lot more just like it.